This episode opens with Admiral Duante talking to Kara about grief, loss, and sacrifice. This sequence is obviously put in place to set up this future antagonist's motivations and current mental state. I'm not sure whether they're just putting the time and effort to set up this antagonist for the next 2 episodes, or whether they are actually putting some thought into the possible revival of the show and seasons 7, 8, and 9 at some point in the possible near future.
We're doing something good here. It's important. And if we win, it'll make all of this worth it. Even the parts we had to give up along the way.
Cortazar then rushes in a state of flustered enthusiasm. He's received a return signal from this ominous alien vessel orbiting Laconia. As well as this, and Kara wheeling her brother out to be revived by these strange dogs. There is so much exciting and crazy stuff going on here that I can't wait to see play out in the last 2 episodes. Ceres surges in this anti-inner rhetoric, and the MCRN is now completely tired of any humanitarian efforts. They just want to attack Marco and Medina Station head on. Now I think this, as Avasarala hinted, is just playing into Marco's further manipulations. But one thing I do know is, one thing I think I know is that it's going to result in some exciting action sequences and hard losses on possibly both sides.
Cripple Medina and reassert control of the ring before the Free Navy can get any more entrenched.
Rushing headlong to salve our pride and prove our manhood is exactly what Inaros wants. I will not commit my forces to that plan.
Even with this high-octane 6-episode slew of action-filled episodes here, they still allow for these little character-centric moments. This little insight into Bobby and Amos still grieving the loss of their friend was so quiet and emotional and beautiful, and you can't help but love it if you love these characters.
Behind a cloud, hide his face and cry.
I think Filip is on course, and I think they're setting him up to side with Sanity. The introduction of Tadeo here provides this first-hand experience with the tragedy and loss that Marco wrought upon Tycho Station when he left it. And then Filip comes to the realization that somebody on the Rossi probably deactivated that nuclear warhead, meaning that somebody on the ship still cares for him. Well, he full well knows that his father would let him die for the cause, but his father wouldn't die for him. So I think the tide is turning against Marco. This horrible tyrant is now out in the open. He's not this beautiful, charismatic man anymore with a sparkle in his eye and the big dreams. He's achieved these big dreams. He did fuck up the Earth, and now he's just running away from the Inners and continuing to fight the battle, and doesn't really care that much for the Belters anymore, and is focused on Laconia. And I think everybody is just sick and fed up with him and can see through the lies, and is going to come to a head with this brutal tyrant getting hung.
Tech said data logs show torpedoes disarmed before impact.
You mean someone disarmed it?
Who would do that? It had to be a malfunction in flight.
The brilliant thing about Amos confronting Holden about disarming the nuclear warhead is I completely agree with him. I completely see his point of view. Why the fuck are they out in the middle of this perilous, insane war where they're in tin cans flying through the void of space, shooting missiles at each other if they're not there to win it? They need to end this thing. It's insanity. And they had the opportunity, but Holden pulled the punches. But then on the opposite side, I completely understand and sympathize with Holden. Of course, Holden, the sympathetic, empathetic hero, couldn't murder the son of his partner, of course. He had no other option. The brilliant thing about this situation is both of these character motivations make complete narrative sense, and the way they've set it up makes me sympathize with both of them. Even though both men fall on two completely different sides of the fence, I can understand and empathize with both of them. It's really smart writing.
I trust you to do the right thing. What you think it is. We had a chance to end DeMarco. And you pulled the punch.
Since season 1, Wes Chatham has always been able to tap into this animal aggression and just have this sense of tension and insane violence just on the surface, just with his face and his body language and his body structure and everything. And this moment, it's between two friends, two family members that we love, and it's just so intense and violent and brutal and sad and immersive.
So you're gonna need to explain that to me. Because if we're not trying to win this fight, I don't know what I'm doing out here.
It was my call to make. And I don't owe you a fucking explanation.
Are you pissed at me for asking? Or because you don't have an explanation to give?
It's all the little details in Tadeo's story about his brother's vertigo, and about his brother's struggles that allows us to sympathize and empathize with this character. He's not even real, but just the way that they wrote out this story here, and the story about his brother taking him under his wing, and it's all the little details, all the little tiny details that make it seem real and human. He's not even a real guy, he's just a fictional character. But I mean, fiction is obviously very powerful and has influenced society immensely over our development.
Vertigo. Anytime he is out in vacuum, he gets dizzy, blackout, vomit in his helmet. And he joke about it, but it always bothered him.
Much like Wes Chatham, Stephen Strait gets this immense moment of emotional explosion in this episode when he starts confronting Naomi over her pushing down all her feelings and trying to run away from all the trauma that she's just suffered. His intensity is extreme, and it comes from years of crafting these characters and years of Stephen Strait understanding this character and years of these writers crafting this narrative. It was very good acting and very good writing.
Stop treating me like I am broken.
Stop pretending like what you're feeling doesn't matter. What you went through on the Pella? I see how much it hurts you every time we kill another Belter ship. You're trying to carry all of this by yourself, and you can't.
If Filip hurts more people, then
It's not about Filip or what he might or might not do. It's about us. I can't be the one who kills your son.
I love the design of Marco's food hall here. These two dual blooming shipping container constructions spinning around each other. It was really interesting imagery and very beautiful as Drummer and her team attempt to get into them and see what's happening in there. So after this suspenseful standoff, we get the most brutal and visceral and bloody sequence in the Expanse to date. And I love how it was Michio, the girl who's been struggling to live this life out on the run as a fugitive. I love how she is the one who bites down and is able to act out this brutal and vicious operation on her polyamorous partner. It's hard not to be moved by the sheer, bloody, brutal, visceral, gut-wrenching nature of this sequence. The way she kisses Joseph and then just starts hacking at his arm with the knife. And Drummer and that other guy like, holy fuck! And I was like, holy fuck! And I'm sure most people were like, holy fuck! We get this really macabre journalism piece by Monica in this episode. It shows the first-person perspective of the bombs going off on Ceres, with this old Belter man's story cut over the top. He doesn't really care about this ongoing war. He doesn't really care about the Inners or the Belters. He's just basically trying to survive. He's just trying to get food. He's just trying to get water. He's just trying to get air. He's just trying to live his life. But these power struggles, these grabs for the control that just keep on repeating, these repeating patterns throughout humanity just keep on happening. We can't help but strive for power, strive for position, strive for control, and there's always victims when these people do these things, and it's a reflection on our own society and the fact that we have come so far technologically, but we are still monkeys in shoes. And in 300 years time, when we have the Epstein drive and when we have 1,300 wormholes to 1,300 alien planets, we will still be monkeys in shoes repeating these same brutal animalistic patterns. It's part of humanity. We have iPhones, but we still smash each other's heads in and eat the goo within.
I don't hate anyone. I want air and water and freedom.
Drummer's fuck you to Marco was perfect in this episode. She's baiting him to revenge his own ego, calling him out and saying the stuff that she said. It's just playing right into the person he is. We've seen when he come across the Rossi, even though he's this smart, intelligent, strategic person, he couldn't help but gun for his revenge. And now his ego has been challenged, and everybody has seen it. Drummer's just so fed up and done and broken by this point. She's seen so many people die. She's seen so many things change. Her entire existence has just become the existence of somebody on the run, a fugitive. And now we're seeing Joseph brutally lose his arm, has just tipped it all off. How many friends does she have to lose? How much shit does she have to eat? Well, she's fucking done, and she's willing to die now. She's just like, let's get this over and fucking done with. Fuck you, Marco. Come and fucking kill me. I'm fucking done. And it's brutal, and it's brilliant, and it's amazing, and I can't wait to see how it play out in the last 2 episodes. Also, Filip, when he sees the message, seems to get this, like, Free Navy hurrah and seems to come back onto Marco's side. But I don't think that's the way this character is heading. I think he's gonna side with sanity, as I said earlier. But then the final sequence in this episode would seem that he's all gung-ho for the Free Navy and the cause now. So I don't know what they're doing. I know he's on the fence, and that's an interesting character element. But for a satisfying character arc, he does need to pick a side and then put 100% of himself into that choice and then follow through with it. That's how you write a satisfying character arc. It can't just continue to sit on the fence and be either side. So I think he's siding with his mother and sanity. We'll see.
Track me down and kill me if you can. It doesn't matter anymore. I will always be the one who took back what you stole. Kamina Drummer did this to you. Live shamed and die empty.
In conclusion, this episode is putting all the pieces further in place for this final confrontation, this final 2-episode run of the greatest show on television now, currently, in my opinion. I mean, I think there are shows of better quality like The Sopranos, but for me personally, this crazy high-concept sci-fi show is my favorite show. Like, I think the Beatles are the best band ever, but my favorite band is Tool. I acknowledge that the Beatles are better, but Tool resonates with me more. I acknowledge that there are other shows that are better than The Expanse, like The Sopranos, or The Sopranos, maybe just The Sopranos. But for me personally, this crazy high-concept sci-fi story resonates with me on a deeper level. And yeah, we're coming up to the end. It's bittersweet. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be brilliant. They're going to stick the landing because these guys are fucking good. But it's going to be sad because that's going to be it for The Expanse. Maybe in several years' time they'll come back with movies or a television show or something, but maybe they won't. And I mean, I think that's fine. And you know, it would have been amazing if the Beatles had wrote more albums, but they didn't. It would have been amazing if we get 20 more episodes of The Expanse, but we may not. I mean, I think we just have to be grateful for the things we have, and we have to stop expecting more and more and more from everything, from media, from the world, from our relationships, from our existence, and just be happy with what we've got and where we are. Maybe, or maybe we should expect more and want more. I don't know. Thank you all for watching! I'll see you next week!